separating overlapping triangles and identifying common features. All right, so we are given these two triangles and they overlap. So in this one, and I'm actually going to scroll down a little bit instead of drawing it so that you can see like this one, it's showing you a green one and they separated and they pulled it out over here. And then they're showing you a red one and they pulled it out over here. So we just kind of have to do that in our heads because we might not have the ability to just separate them out and draw them in a different color. You can always draw them on paper. Gotta click the right color. So I can draw one of them like this, and then I can pull the other one out and draw it like this. So I can draw them on paper. Now, did I do a very good job of that? No. We can draw them on paper. But the main thing we're going to start with, so first they pull the two triangles apart, and they want you to fill in the missing vertex labels. So the first thing we're going to do is just match up numbers. So we have 6, and these were angle names. So we have angle 3, angle 1, 2, 9, 10, 8, 7, 4, 5, and 6. So if this is angle 6, well, I'm just going to go to find angle 6, and well, that would be a P. So I type P in here. And then 9, I'm going to go through and I'm going to find 9. 9 would be T. So I type T in. Well, if it's 6 and 9, the other vertex for this triangle would be 7, because this is the triangle that I'm looking at. And then for this one, I'm going to find angle 8. So this time they're separating it out like this for this one. And they're even telling you R, Q, S. So we know it's going to be R, Q, and S. We just need to figure out where they go. So if I know it's going to be R, Q, and S, well, here's S. That's 8. So I'm going to put S right above the 8. And then the other one says 3. Here's angle 3, and that's by R. So the other one must be Q. So the second part of this says, choose the correct statement below about triangle PQT and triangle RQS. So the triangles have a common side. So if that's true, you would click this button, and then you would choose which side is common. So the way you would know if it has a common side is when we fill it in. So like this, PQT or RQS, they'd have to have 2 points that are the same in order to have a common side, meaning that like maybe they were drawn something like this. So this is a common side. Both triangles share that one side. But in order for that to happen, you would actually see it. So you'd actually see PT in this case, the one that I drew. You'd see that on both of them. They'd have the same 2 letters. So that doesn't happen. The triangle have a common angle. So in this case, and I'm going to scroll down here just so we can see it, they do both have angle Q. So that means they do have a common angle. Both of them share angle Q. So then we would click the drop down and we would select angle Q. Or the triangles have neither a common side nor a common angle. So that could also happen. All right, so I'm going to erase this over here because we really don't need it. We're going to go ahead and click start. Okay, so now we're looking at these 2 triangles, and it tells us this first one is QRS. So we know we're looking at QRS. So we're looking at this kind of first part of the triangle here, and we need to match it up. So we're looking for 4. 4 is by Q, so I'm going to write Q in here. And then we're looking for 1. So if I know it's QRS, I'm going to look Q. R doesn't have a 1 by it, but S does. So I'm going to write S. And then I know the other one has to be R because those are the 3 letters I'm using. All right, so for this one, it tells me that it's TSR. So TSR. So if I'm looking for angle 2, then I go to angle 2. Well, that's right by R here. So I'm going to write R. And then angle 9 is by T. And the other one will have to be S. All right. So in this case, the next one they want to know is choose the correct statement about QRS and TSR. Fill in the additional information as necessary. So we're only going to choose one that's true. And I want to bring this up right now. So on the last one, when I said they both have an angle that's shared, so I can see R and R. I can see S and S. But if you look, this angle R is smaller than this angle R. So we wouldn't call that a shared angle. And the same thing with S. This angle S is much smaller than this angle S. So we wouldn't call that a shared angle. But instead, if you notice that this is RS and this is also RS, because they both had that same line on the top. So that's when we say they have a common side. So I click on this and I go, which one is it? Well, it's RS because we just talked about that. It's the one along the top. So I wouldn't click on the other ones because if I click on the other ones, it unhighlights this one. So I can only click on one and I click check. Yay. Next. All right, 2 more of these. Okay, so we have DEH and GFE. So first, let's look at DEH. So DEH. So this kind of first one kind of looks like a little mountain range here. So we have 8 and 7. So first, let's look at 7. So 7 is E. And then 8 down here is D, because I can see that's right there. So if we have 8 and 7, then we're going to come over here to the H. That's got to be the missing one because we know it had to be D, E, and H. If I use D and E, H has to be the other one. All right, so the next one is GFI. So GFI. So we're going up on this one. All right, so if we start at the top here, we have 2, and that is right by F. And we're going to drop down here to the G, and that's a 1, and that matches. So the other one has to be I. All right, so there are no letters in common between either of the two triangles. So what that tells me right away, no letters in common, that means there can't be any matching angles. So they don't share an angle. And if there's no matching letters, that also means that they do not share any sides, not completely. They share a tiny bit of the side right here, but to share a side, it means the whole thing. So it would have to go all the way from H to D in order for it to be a completely shared side. So this isn't considered a shared side. It's a piece of a side. So we know we don't have a common side, and we don't have a common angle, so we click on neither. All right, one more. All right, so now we have HIJ. So we have HIJ. So for this one up here, we don't have a number by it, so let's do 3 first. So we have 3, that's I. 10, we have H. So if it's H, I, and J has to be the other one because we have to use all 3 of those letters. LKJ. So we have LKJ. So let's go to 1, that's by K. 6 is by L. And again, if I use L and K, I have to use J. That's part of the rules. I have to use these 3 letters because I'm creating that triangle. All right, so now we need to see what do they have in common. So they only have 1 letter in common, J. And both of these triangles, if I trace them, they use this entire angle J. So it's not cut up or anything. It is that entire angle. So they do have this angle in common. They don't have any sides in common. Again, they use a piece of the side here for HJ, but it's not the whole side, so we wouldn't say that's a common side. But we can say that they do have a common angle, and their common angle is J, so I would choose J, but they want the number, so we need to scroll up. It's angle 2. So we want to click on angle 2. And click check, and we should be good to go. Yay, we finished another one.